Hi Sriram.
Hi.
Hello sir.
Yeah, you're able to hear me, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, fine, great. So how is corona there? எப்படி இருக்கு கொரோனா அங்க? எப்படி போயிட்டு இருக்கு?
இல்லை ரொம்ப இது டஃப்பாக தான் போயிட்டு ஃபுல் எங்கள் ஸ்ட்ரீட்ல 11 பேர் இருக்காங்க.
ஐயோ.
ஹவுஸ்க்கு இந்த சைடு அந்த சைடு எல்லாமே லாக்டு தான். ஸோ அந்த
ஓகே.
வீட்டுக்குள்ள தான்
ரிஸ்க் தான்.
கொஞ்சம் ஹையாகவே இருக்கு.
ஏதாவது எக்ஸ்டெண்ட் பண்றாங்களா?
இல்லை எக்ஸ்டெண்ட் பண்ணல.
பண்ணல?
இல்லை.
எங்களுக்கு ஆபீஸ் ஆரம்பிச்சிச்சு ஆக்சுவலா. எல்லாருமே லைக் லாஸ்ட் தர்ஸ்டே ஆபீஸ் ஒர்க்கிங் ஆரம்பிச்சிச்சு.
ஓ, எந்த இடத்துல?
இது தேனாம்பேட்ல அதிகமா இருக்கு.
தேனாம்பேட்?
ஆமா.
இல்லை, கண்டுக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. அவங்க பாட்டு ஜாலியா பண்ணிட்டு
என்ன பண்றது? பைசா வேணும்ல. ஜாதி வந்தாலும் பரவாயில்லன்னு சொல்லிட்டு உட்காந்துருக்கோம்.
ஆக்சுவலா அது லாக் பண்ணாலுமே யூஸ் இல்லை. ஏன்னா எல்லாரும் பேரிகேட் வச்சிருக்காங்க. பேரிகேட் தள்ளிட்டு தான் போயிட்டு இருக்காங்க. இப்படி அப்படியே
நம்ம ஆளுங்களுக்கு தெரியாதா இந்த இந்தியன்ஸ்க்கு? ஒரு 2 மினிட்ஸ் இருங்க, ஜாயின் பண்ணிப்பாங்க எல்லாரும். எல்லாரும் வரக்கு.
ஓகே
ஹாய் ஸ்ரீராம்
சார்.
எப்படி இருக்க?
சார் எனக்கு நல்லா இருக்கேன் சார். எனக்கு ஒரே ஒரு டவுட் தான் சார். எனக்கு
சொல்லு.
இப்போ நம்ம வந்து ஃபீல்டுல இருக்கும் போது நம்மளால வந்து டப்புன்னு சப்போஸ் ஏதாவது நம்மளால அப்பச்சரோ ஷட்டர் ஸ்பீடோ ஏதாவது நம்மளால மாத்த முடியலன்னா நம்ம வந்து ஆட்டோ மோட்ல வச்சு எடுத்துட்டு நம்ம போஸ்ட் ப்ராசஸிங்ல வந்து நம்மளுக்கு ஏத்த மாதிரி நம்ம மாத்திக்கலாம்ல சார்? நம்ம எப்படி வேணுமோ அப்படி மாத்திக்கலாம்ல சார்? நம்ம
நான் எப்பயுமே எடுத்தது கிடையாது அந்த மாதிரி. சரியா? நான் எப்பயுமே வந்து ஆட்டோல எப்பயுமே எடுத்தது கிடையாது. ஃபுல்லா வந்து ஒண்ணு அப்பேச்சர் ப்ரையாரிட்டில போட்டு வச்சுட்டு செட்டிங் பண்ணிட்டு தான் நான் போட்டோகிராஃபி ஆரம்பிப்பேன்.
புரியுது சார், புரியுது.
ஓகே. சோ
இல்ல சார், அதான் நான் ஒரே ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷன்ல வந்து ஒரு இது பண்ண ஒரே ஒரு வாட்டி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் வந்து பேர்டிங் போனோம் சார். நயப்பாக்கம் லேக் இருக்குல்ல நம்மளுக்கு சென்னையில. அங்க போயிருந்தேன் நான். சும்மா இந்த இது வருதுன்னு சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க அங்க. அது பேர் என்னது, இங்க கைட்டு வருதுன்னு சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க. சரி போலான்ட்டு போயிருந்தாங்க. கைட்டு கிடைச்சிது ஆக்சுவலா எங்களுக்கு. ஆனா என்னால வந்து மேனுவல் மோட்ல போட்டு என்னால எடுக்கவே முடியாது. டப்புன்ட்டு என்னால வந்து எடுக்க முடியாது என்னால. அங்க வந்து அந்த டைம்ல வந்து அந்த இது மாதிரி இந்த மேனுவல் மோட்ல வந்து ஒரு இது மாதிரி ஒரு ஃபேஸ் பண்ணேன் நானு. அதுதான் அப்ப வந்து
அப்படி கிடையாது. ஒரு நீ போட்டோகிராஃபி ஆரம்பிக்கிறேன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நீ ஒண்ணு அப்பேச்சர் ப்ரையாரிட்டில வச்சுட்டு இல்லன்னா ஷட்டர் ப்ரையாரிட்டில வச்சுட்டு இல்லன்னா மேனுவல் மோட்ல வச்சுட்டு நீ you have to go through trial. சரியா? ட்ரையல் பண்ணாதான் நெக்ஸ்ட் நீ வந்து you have to start clicking. ஓகேயா? எல்லாமே வந்து முதல்ல எல்லாமே கரெக்டா இருக்குன்னு பார்த்துட்டு தான் நம்ம you have to start clicking. இல்லனா நமக்கு அது வேஸ்ட். கரெக்ட்டா?
கரெக்ட் சார். கரெக்ட்.
முதல்ல ப்ரையரா நம்ம எல்லாத்தையும் செட் பண்ணிட்டோம்னா அப்புறம் வந்து you can keep on doing that for 2 hours, use it 2 to 3 hours based on the nature like that's all.
புரியுது.
ஆமா.
ஓகே சார். அதான் நெக்ஸ்ட் டைம் தான் ட்ரை பண்ணுவோம். பேர்டிங் ஏதாவது போகும்போது தான் அதான் ட்ரை பண்ணோம். அப்பச்சர் மோட்லயோ இல்ல ஷட்டர் ஸ்பீட் மோட்லயோ வச்சுட்டு நம்ம செட்டிங்ஸை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ப்ரையரா வச்சு ட்ரை பண்ணணும். நெக்ஸ்ட் நம்ம
ஷூர் ட்ரை பண்ணலாம். ஒரு ப்ராப்ளமும் இல்ல.
கண்டிப்பா சார். அதான் போஸ்ட் ப்ராசஸிங் தான் சார் ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருக்கு.
இந்த ஒருத்தர் கூப்பிட்டுருக்கோம்ல அவர் சுந்தர், கவலைப்படாதீங்க.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே.
ஹலோ சார், ரவி சார். குட் ஈவினிங் சார்.
Good evening everybody.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
எப்படி இருக்கீங்க சார்?
ஏதோ இருக்கோம்.
நமச்சிவாயம் சார். ஓகே. எஸ் ப்ரோ, நவனித் ப்ரோ. நீங்க ஆரம்பிங்க. லைக் I will introduce you. Okay. Good evening all.
So like today in today's session, like we'll be dealing with this few topics, and this will be basically about how to manage your photographs. So like Lightroom, basically everyone knows it as a processing tool, but more than processing, you can actually completely manage your photographs, create, move, transfer, and you can completely manage, and you can find your photographs, fast record of photographs wherever it is there in your complete hard disk, or wherever that it is in your storage. Everywhere you can do it. So it is more of a management tool than of a processing tool. So in today's session, we'll completely get through how to manage your photographs through Lightroom, and tomorrow's session we'll completely go into how to process your photographs through Lightroom. So first, like these are the list of topics that I'll be dealing with today. And in between, you have any questions, you can just stop me then and there, and I'll answer all your questions. Yeah?
Sure.
That's excellent tiger photo here.
Yeah, that was shot in 2015 or something, I guess, in Tadoba.
Okay.
So basically, we have these two types of Lightroom, that is called as the Lightroom Classic CC and Lightroom CC. So everyone would have known these two things. But the major difference between a Lightroom Classic CC and a Lightroom CC is that Lightroom CC, it is completely based on cloud storage and creative cloud storage. So you have some changes that you make on your laptop using Lightroom, and the same Lightroom software you have it on your mobile phone. You can just synchronize it, and you can use it from the mobile as well as the laptop. Yeah, the photos and everything, whatever processing you do, it will get automatically synchronized. So that is how it works. Whereas in Lightroom Classic CC, it is completely off cloud based software, and it is completely of desktop software. So we'll be mostly dealing with Lightroom Classic CC today.
Okay.
So before we get into this processing, there is like some prerequisites that you will have to need. So that is like you have to shoot in like file raw format. So that is basic. That is something that is to do with photography. So why you have to shoot in raw is a separate huge topic that has to be dealt with. So as of now, we'll have it in mind that we have to shoot in raw, and that is the best way to actually process your images. So that is the best file format which you can choose for processing your images. So and the RAM of minimum of
கார்த்திக் ஏதோ ஒரு வாய்ஸ் டிஸ்டர்பன்ஸ் இருக்கு.
சொல்லுங்க சார், இருங்க நான் எல்லாரையும் மியூட்ல போடுறேன், ஒரு நிமிஷம். One second. Sridhar, please try to unmute. Please try to unmute yourselves. Yeah. Now you can do. Now you can speak. Yeah.
So it is like you should need a sufficient hard disk space that is based on the amount of photographs that you have. So after this, your major part comes in how will I maintain my files. So maintaining your files is something like a huge thing that everyone of us like dealing. We use multiple hard disks. We go and save it in our local systems and all those. But basically, I use a NAS, which is a network attached storage. So it is something like an UPS. So that is connected to my system here. So I store all my files over there, which is 16 TB hard disk. So I use it here. I store my files here, and if I on this NAS device at my home system here, I can use it elsewhere. Wherever I have the internet connection, I can use my files and I can process it whenever I want. So this is one way you can use NAS, or you can use a local hard disk. But using a local hard disk is a risky option. So if you drop it, you're going to lose your files. And recovering a hard disk is like 70-30 option. So 70% chances of recovering is less, and 30% out of luck you can recover it. So the other options would be cloud storage or iCloud, like generally whatever we use. So this major thing before you get into why you processing is color space. So what is color space is that a simple thing I'll tell you. Like you edit your images in Lightroom. It is in a system that is like a big huge system, and then you post it on Facebook or you post it on Instagram. You see the color that you have that you had while you were editing in Lightroom is not the same color that you had while you were posting it on Instagram. You find the image to have slightly desaturated, or the sharpness of the image is slightly less, and all those things happen. So that is majorly something that has to do with color space. So what is color space is that it is let's assume it is a type of a gamut or space where there is filled with colors, and you have this thing called as the small triangle that you see is the sRGB. So all our web and Instagram and social media recognizes only the sRGB type, and beyond which you have this Adobe RGB. So in our camera we have these two settings of Adobe RGB and sRGB. So when you choose sRGB and you shoot in sRGB and you try printing that photo, you are going to get some desaturated colors. You won't get the same colors. Whereas you edit your photos in Adobe RGB and post it in social media, you are going to get desaturated colors, because system and social media what they understand only sRGB colors. Beyond these two, there is another thing called as the ProPhoto RGB. ProPhoto RGB occupies the largest amount of colors, or understands the largest amount of colors when compared to Adobe RGB and sRGB. So while you are having something called you edit your photo in Lightroom and then you take it to Photoshop, and that is the time when you use ProPhoto RGB. Whereas when you use when you are doing it in web, you use it at sRGB, and when you go for printing your photos, you should go with Adobe RGB. And these are the things that you have to keep it in mind, and you have to process your images and save your images in the particular color profile to get the apt colors, and like the same thing while you are editing and while you post your images. So for you would have seen like top photographers of who are posting it on social media, they will have like very vibrant colors on their profile, whereas when you post it on the social media, you will have some dim, but the photographs, everything, sharpness, everything is same when you clicked it. But this is the main reason why they're behind that, because you edit your images in Adobe RGB and you post it in Adobe RGB, and the system tries to compress it to maximum level, and they get compressed so much that you are not able to get the perfect saturated colors or sharpness that you have done to your image in Lightroom. So without any further delay, let's get started on with the Lightroom thing, how we are going to do it, and we'll first understand of how we can use Lightroom as a photo management tool. So basically, when I open Lightroom, this is something. This is how the screen looks like. You are able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, the Lightroom screen.
Yes, we are able to see the symbol of Lightroom. That's all.
Oh, okay. So,
it's still in PPT.
Yeah, still in PPT.
Now you are able to see the Lightroom home screen.
Yes.
So this is the Lightroom home screen. As you, if you have downloaded, I am using the Lightroom Classic CC version. So this is we have something called as the catalog. So what you do is you go to you go to new catalog.
Everything is fine here. Same. 1 second. Everything is fine here.
I think you want to hold it.
Shall I send you the link again, sir? Shall I send you the link again?
1 minute later.
Okay. Why is that? One sec, sir. Oh my God. Okay, sir. 1 sec. I'll just try to Log enable waiting room. Allow participants. So now try to join, sir. Yeah, now we try to join. Oh my God, it is not. Hmm. Yes, the that started actually. I don't know why. Actually, last day before yesterday also it was well, right? It was good, right? Hello. Yeah. Yes, yes. Oh my God. Hmm. Finding these settings also it is difficult to gather. What I'll do is I'll do it. I will try to get you in, sir. Wait. I'll try to get you in. Okay.
I will wait till he joins, or we'll wait till he joins.
Yes. Please continue. I'm online. Tell me.
No. Shall I continue, or shall I wait for someone to join?
No. You continue. You continue. You start. I'm recording it. Don't worry.
Okay then.
Yeah.
So this is a basic home page of Lightroom, and we have something called as a Lightroom catalog. So what is a catalog? Is a catalog is actually an environment that Lightroom gives you where you can edit, process, and manage your files. So to create a catalog, you have to go to File, New Catalog, and then you select your destination where you want to do. I preferably ask you not to do it in C drive. Rather, you can do it in your external hard disk, or you can do it in any other drives like D, E, or F, and not on a major C drive. So if anything goes wrong with your system, like all the edits to all the files and all the changes that you have made to all the files, everything will go. So it is better to go ahead with a D or E, anything apart from C drive. So once you create, you get this type of thing, and on top I have created some. On top left, sorry, on left top you can see like sample catalog that is given on that one, and that is the name of the catalog that I have created. So these are the tabs of left and so now we go ahead with importing a file into this one. So how we do is, so you have two options of doing it. So you go to File, and you go to import files, photos and videos, and then you import your photos that you wish to do. I take some random photograph that is present here. So I import these two files. So by doing this, you have not done anything. You have just imported the files from this from your system to the Lightroom. So by doing this thing, you just bring in your files to Lightroom. You just process it, and then you just leave it. So I would recommend you not to do this one. And basically, what for instance, I'm just deleting these files. Now what you do is you just click on this import and bottom left here, and on top you see there are four options: move, add, copy, and copy as dng. So these are the four options that you have, so with which you can actually move, add, and copy as dng of your files. So basically go ahead with move. So in this thing, what you do is, I have a photo in this particular destination, and from here say I have it in my hard disk and I wanted to move it to my system. So in this case, you choose your hard disk and you choose these files, and then you select all the files that you want to move from a particular source, and then from there you move it to a particular destination, and you can choose your destination here. So we are basically I'm going at with this one, and I'm going at catalog. I'm going with the Lightroom catalog folder, and here it is given as into subfolders. If you want to give it, you can. I don't prefer it. I just want it to be into one single folder. If you want, you have two other options. By originals is that it will give you the exact division by date, and it will give you exact division by when it was shot, and all those divisions will be there. So as of now I want just into one folder, and now I click on import. So what happens is that the file gets imported into Lightroom, as well as gets moved from the source that we selected to a destination that we went. So for to check that one, I'm just opening that one. So now we are able to see the two files that were there in the Lightroom catalog that I have moved has come over here. So apart from this, the files that I had are also there in this Lightroom thing. So by this, you have just moved your file from one source to another destination, and and as well you have moved it into Lightroom as well in the particular catalog. Using this particular catalog, you have moved the files. So let's see the other function that is present there. So that will be copy. So for instance, I choose the same thing, same folder, and when you go ahead with choosing these two folders, and now I select these two files, and I use the same thing, and I copy. Now you just find two files, but it was like four files. Previously it was two, and now it is two. So it is four files, but now you see just two files. Now it is nothing to worry, but in the left side you have this thing called as a catalog. There you have all photographs. Now it is like in the previous import. So just move it to all photographs, and you have four photographs, all that is copied from that one to this one. Two were copied, two were moved, and two were copied. So there is another two options which is also deals with the same thing. It is like you have, for instance, you consider this situation that you had copied like 500 photos, and to a folder called as Tadoba, to a catalog called as Tadoba, and later you find there are three other photos that you want to add to the same catalog. In that way, you can choose this option called as add, and you can open that catalog and you add the files that you want to add to them, to the particular catalog, and the files get added to the catalog. That's it. So in this case, you can't move to a particular destination or nothing. You just add the files to the catalog. That's it. In this way, you can just use it for further processing of the images, and not just adding of the images, or not just moving or copying of the particular image. So this third thing is something called as a copy as DNG. So DNG is actually a digital negative file. So what is a digital negative file is that previously when Photoshop first introduced a plugin called as the Camera Raw, it didn't understand all the file formats of all the cameras. It understood certain thing called CR2 that belongs to Canon, and any of that belongs to Nikon. It understood only certain, that too of only of certain models it understood. So so it was a major disadvantage. So to overcome that, they introduced this thing called as a DNG. So you convert your raw file into a DNG file. That is, you have a digital negative converter that is available in Adobe. So you convert this thing, and then later when you, after you convert, you can import it into the Camera Raw, and then you can process your images. So this was basically used previously when there was no option of using direct CR2 files, ADF files, or the Sony files directly into Camera Raw or directly into Lightroom. So now this option is available. Like you can use your direct CR raw files into your Lightroom and directly you can process it. So most of them have now moved on off from using DNG and they have directly started using raw files. So if you are a person who is still prefer DNG files, that is well and good. But certain people use this as a way to reduce their storage. So you have a raw file that is 32 MB for instance, and you convert it into DNG, it becomes something to 20 MB. But the clarity of the image or information or metadata information, nothing gets different from or reduced when compared to the raw image. So it remains the same, but the size of the file reduces from 30 to 20. So that is the major advantage of using DNG. But most of them are fine with spending amount on hard disk and using high size files then and there and not converting them to DNG. So that is majorly preferred. Even I don't prefer DNG much. So that is something about this one. So moving on to this one. So later we see some options like add, and now I show you on how to do some simple fast edits that you want to do while you are importing. So when you choose this, I choose the same thing, same Adobe file, and now I see these two files are disabled. That is because by using this function, I just now copied these files, and so the Lightroom catalog has recognized that these two files are already there in that particular catalog, and so these two files are disabled as of now. So I go ahead and use the other two images, and I choose the option called as the, we'll see a file handling later, but as of now I'll show you like apply during import. So apply during import has two options. So develop settings and metadata settings. So develop settings are something that has to do with the changes, that is color or creative, black and white, or any fast quick adjustments that you want to make to your image. You can use it to develop settings. And metadata is a set of information that you give to your image. So it is like the who's the copyright, who's the author, or which latitude, which place you shot it, what is the aperture, or when you shot it. All this set of informations that you want to store to the particular information while you import is done through metadata. All beyond that, we have something called as a keyword. So when you choose keyword is actually something that something like a tag, like how you use a Facebook. When you post your images in Facebook, you have something called as a tag. You tag your images. So when you do that, you actually find your images later. So if I tag you, you will be able to find that particular image that we both shared in a particular place at a particular instance and all those things. So in the same way, keyword is also something similar to that. So you have something called as a global keyword and a local keyword. So what is a global keyword is that in this instance, I have I have all these images are shot in Adobe. So I give a global keyword, that is I select all these images and give a keyword called as Adobe. Whereas I have something called a local keyword, that is in Tadoba I have shot tigers, I have shot leopards, I have shot few peacocks, for instance. So I select only all the tiger images and give the keyword as tiger, and select all the peacock and give us peacock. This is like local and global keywording. So when I search tiger, I'll be able to find only the tiger images that I have imported. So to go ahead with develop settings, I just give a random uh, high contrast, or I just make so there's something like this so that it is clearly visible, and then uh, I give few metadata information, that is uh,
You're using a paid version, right?
you're asking me?
Yeah, now it.
No, I'm not using a paid version.
Okay, okay.
guys are able to see my screen? Like,
PPT.
yeah. No. The Lightroom thing.
Nope.
No.
Yes. We are not able to see your Lightroom screen. Guys, I am just sending you the second link. Okay. It is going to be around 40 minutes. So please join through the second link also. Okay.
Able to hear me?
Yes.
Able to hear me?
Yes, Navneet. Hello, Navneet. Speak up.
You guys are able to hear me?
Yes, Navneet, continue. Actually, we are able to hear you, but can you hear me? Hello. Hello, bro. Navneet, bro.
கார்த்திக்.
Yes, sir.
அவரு ஸ்ரீதர் பேசுறதே நமக்கு கேட்கல.
ஆமா அது அவர் பேசுறது எனக்கு கேக்குது, பட் வந்து
அவரு
கேட்க மாட்டேங்குது அவருக்கு.
இல்ல ஸ்ரீதர் பேசுறது எனக்கு மெசேஜ் வருது, ஆனா ஆடியோ வர மாட்டேங்குது.
இருங்க நான் போன் போட்டுட்டு இருக்கேன்.
ஸ்ரீதர் பேசுறது நமக்கு வரல.
அதான் சார், ஏதோ நெட் ப்ராப்ளம் வந்திருக்கு சார். ஏதோ நெட் ப்ராப்ளம் வந்திருக்கு. இருங்க. ப்ரோ கேக்குதா?
ஃபுல்லா blank-ஆவே இருக்கு.
எங்களுக்குலாம் கேக்குது. லைக் நீங்க பேசுறது கேக்குது, நான் பேசுறது உங்களுக்கு கேக்குது.
இப்ப கேக்குது.
இல்ல ஃபுல்லா blank-ஆவே இருக்கு.
இப்ப கேக்குது. ஸ்ரீதர் பேசுறது
நீங்க பேசுறது உங்களுக்கு கேக்குது நவனீத்.
சரி ஓகே, அப்ப நான் கண்டினியூ பண்ணா.
நீங்க கண்டினியூ பண்ணுங்க.
இப்பதான் கேக்குது. ஓகே.
ஸ்கிரீன் வந்து பவர் பாயிண்ட் ஸ்கிரீன் தான் காமிக்குது.
அதான் சார், அவர் இப்ப பவர் பாயிண்ட் ஸ்கிரீன் தான் காமிச்சிட்டு இருக்கு. இப்பதான் கனெக்ட் பண்றாரு, மறுபடியும் கனெக்ட் பண்றாரு.
So we were seeing this import of applying things during import. So for instance, I just go ahead and add a file here, and then I show you how to apply things while you import. And so for this one, for instance, I just choose.
I can't see the Lightroom screen.
Bro, not able to see the Lightroom, this one, Lightroom software.
And I apply this black and white change here.
One sec.
Photo.
I think
and
what
import.
he is not able to hear what you are speaking. I think so.
So it's getting imported.
ப்ரோ நீங்க பேசுறது கேக்குறது, ஆனா நாங்க பேசுறது உங்களுக்கு கேட்க மாட்டேங்குது. நாம் எல்லாரும் மியூட்ல போடாம தான் இருக்கோம், அன்மியூட் தான் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். பட் வந்து நீங்க உங்க ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேரிங் வந்து இதுலயே இருக்கு, பிபிடிலயே இருக்கு.
ஓகே ஓகே. சரி.
ஆமா, நெட் மட்டும் பாருங்க, நெட் மட்டும் கரெக்டா இருக்கான்னு பாருங்க.
நெட் கரெக்டா இருக்கு.
ஓகே, அது ஒரு தடவை கனெக்ட் பண்ணி பாருங்க. என்ன ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேரிங் ஆக மாட்டேங்குதா? இப்போ ஆகுது.
நான் ஓகே.
ஓகேவா?
ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே. Yeah.
Yes. Carry on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, well, this is the file that we have imported. So do you want me to do it again or?
Yeah, can I do it again?
Yeah. So this is the destination that I have. Now I'm going to show you how to apply while you import it. So this is simple edits that you can do while you are importing your programs. So this is the one, and here I choose black and white sepia, and or let me go with black and white flat for this thing, and I give few keywords like tiger, wildlife, tadoba, and something like that, and I import this particular photo. So here I go with all photographs, and then when I open this photograph, and then since this is a raw file, and I go ahead developing this particular file, then at that time it shows you how good this file is. So that time all the changes that is present there.
So problem is hello. 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 ப்ரோ என்ன ப்ரோ ஆச்சு? சொல்லுங்க ப்ரோ, சொல்லுங்க. கட் ஆயிடுச்சா? சரி, நான் செகண்ட் லிங்க் அனுப்புறேன். அதான் 40 மினிட்ஸ் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். நான் செகண்ட் லிங்க் அனுப்புறேன். வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க. வேற லிங்க்.
வெரி குட்.
ஏமாத்த வேண்டியதா இருக்கு சார்.
every half an hour மாத்தணுமா அத?
40 மினிட்ஸ் மாத்தணும்.
சரி. ஓகே. இத வேலை முடிஞ்சா சரி.
அவ்வளவுதான். மெயின் ஆள் வரணும்.
அதான் நான் வீடியோவோட க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறேன்.
ஷூர்.
வீடியோ கால்ல இருந்தாதா?
Hi sir, Vasu sir. Bro, அந்த லிங்க்ல வந்துருங்க. ஓகே. அம்ஸ்டேன் உங்க வாட்ஸ்அப் பண்ணிட்டேன். Vasu sir, the first 40 minutes I have stored it. Okay sir.
Okay.
So you can hear to that.
Right.
So I will send you the link after the meeting so that you can have a look at that.
It's only Lightroom, no?
Yeah, it's only Lightroom.
I've been there the last minute.
One sec, sir.
15 something.
Sir, I have sent you the new link, sir. We have more 40 minutes. I have sent you the new link. Yeah, join this. We are actually expecting one more guy, sir. One second. Two more people. Mohan sir is also trying to join. Mohan sir. Yeah. Hi sir.
Hello. ఇలాంటి పక్కన పెడతారు
മോഹനോ
ഓ ഇതാകെ ബുൾഗന്താടക്കായിട്ട്
അത് കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല.
ആ ഇപ്പഴല്ലേ കാണുന്ന ശരിക്ക്.
ഇതാ സ്റ്റൈൽ.
So you are able to see my Lightroom screen?
Just coming.
Just coming.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So after I did the changes of applying to import, I added CPI there. So black and white flat there, and I imported the photo. So once I imported the photo, it was a raw photo. So when I brought it to this check it in develop module, it is just changes that I made to the photo. So this is black and white of this tiger that I have imported. So this is the quick change that I made to this photo. So when I go back to library model, it is the same tiger which has no changes made. Since it is a raw photo, there is no much of changes that is brought into that tiger. But when it is a JPEG and you do this particular import, it directly gets import. The changes directly gets onto that tiger when it is there in the library module.
Okay.
So yeah.
We can.
So
Navneet bro, what I'm asking you is that, see, like we can do it by editing also, right? While we come to the main editing page, we can bring it to monochrome and we can bring it to monochrome flat and everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is also an option to do that, right?
Yeah, this is like after you have like 500 photos, You import all the 500 photos, then you select your one particular photo, then you bring it to monochrome. So in this way, you have like 500 tiger photos, and you decide that all these tiger photos I'm going to do only in monochrome. So while you are importing only, you are changing everything into monochrome and you're bringing into Lightroom. So that option of you going for each photo and changing it to monochrome is not there for you. You can directly go ahead with other things of exposure and highlights and all those things.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
so, or some people directly, once they do this one, directly they'll export it and directly they'll post it on social media. They don't want to go ahead deeply and do their own changes of bit of like exposure, contrast, and all those things. So just for a quick thing to do, you can use this one.
Sure.
So now I have imported all this uh, all my photos here to Lightroom. So assuming that I have imported all the photos that I need to Lightroom, so now we have like different types of views that we have in Lightroom. So here in the bottom you have this one. The first thing that we view currently is called as a grid view. Then you have something called as a loop view, which shows you only one particular photo that is selected. And pressing on your arrow key, you move on to next photos. So, and the next one is a compare view. So in this compare view, it is mainly used to select which photo you want and which photo you don't want. So like this is the first photo on my left and second photo is the candidate photo. And as you change, only the candidate photo that you are comparing with gets changed. The selected photo doesn't change. So with this, you can just find which photo is better, which photo is more sharper, or which photo is like having the perfect composition. With this, you just can compare with your photographs. And the other one is survey, and the other one is people. So in this case, I don't have anyone to tag. So the Lightroom says I am not able to find any faces on your photograph. So only if it is something that is do with human face, the Lightroom will recognize, and not with animal faces. So that is there. And you have this thumbnail thing, and so where as you increase, your size of this images gets increased, and as you decrease, the size of the image gets decreased. So we saw this one at the starting. So while you import, you have this thing called all this. The last import was one. Previous import is one. So when you import, the automatically the view goes to this one. So it just shows you the last previous import. So after you go on to select the all photographs, then only all the photographs that are present in that particular catalog is visible to you. Until you do that, it is not visible. Beyond which, you have something called as synchronized photos. So like previously I said, you have something called as a Lightroom CC. So Lightroom CC works in such a way that you work here and you take your mobile and you open your Lightroom there. It automatically, all the photographs and whatever you do, all the works are automatically synchronized. Whereas in Lightroom Classic CC, they give you this option. You have to synchronize if you wish. If you wish, you can synchronize your particular photos with the device that you want, and then you open Lightroom CC on your mobile, and then you work on Lightroom CC in your mobile if you wish. So that option is there. So as of now, I have not synchronized any photograph here, so I'm not using it. The next thing is the folders. The folders from where folders that I have used till now in this catalog. It shows my destination folder and my current folder here. And the major attraction of Lightroom is something called as the collections. So coming to collection is something like a folder structure actually. So before we go into collections, I'll teach you something called as the major problem that all of us face is like how will you select and reject your photographs. So I for this particular folder that I choose here, this particular tiger, I had like 325 photographs of this same post of this same tiger. So I don't know which tiger I have to choose, which tiger I have to reject. That is basically based on me. So when I do this, there is an option here Lightroom gives: flag as pick and flag as reject. So if I don't want this photograph, I just go ahead and select flag as reject, and I click on the next arrow, and then I select this one as flag as pick. The next one, I don't want this, I select as reject. And now when you go on the on the grid view, you can see these two photographs are rejected. That becomes dull, and the other one that is selected becomes bright.
Sir.
So why
ஓ
do
பரவாயில்ல சார் வாங்க வாங்க
you,
நீங்க வரலாம் இங்க
you select these two
நீங்க
photographs,
நான் குரூப்ல அமைச்சிருக்கேன் பாருங்க
and you just right click here, and you get an option called as the remove photos. In remove photos, you have two options called as delete from disk and remove. So when you go with an option remove, it removes the photo only from the particular catalog, and it remains in the system wherever it was. So if it is in some folder in your D drive, it remains there. But if you go ahead with selecting delete from disk, it gets removed even from the folder where it was actually present and from where it was imported into this catalog. So I recommend you not to use delete from disk anytime, and just remove it from the particular this one particular catalog as of now. So the other options that you have is here uh, you can rate your particular photographs. You can rate it to 3-star, or you can rate it to 4-star, or you can rate it to 5-star. That is completely based on you. So I go, and then you have an option of rotating this one right and left, and that is also based completely on you. And when I did this, and after which there is you when you move to the grid view, they chose you have 2 stars here, and there is no star selection that is made for the other photographs. So now I have this is just 4 photographs that is present in my catalog. Imagine I have like 30, 40, like 500, 600 photographs, and I just want to show only if all of a sudden someone comes and sees my catalog. I don't want him to see all my photographs that I have shot bad, blurred, and all that is wrong in composition. I just want him to see the photos that are best in composition. So imagining these two photographs are best in composition. So you have this option, like you label these two photographs into some particular color. So I right click on this one.
Go on.
Navneet, something has gone. Your Lightroom has gone.
Huh?
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. So
லைட் போயிட்டு வருது.
ஆமா.
கிளியரா இருக்கா இல்லையா?
Clearer. Continue பண்ணுங்க.
It's clear.
It's clear. Continue.
So I select these two photographs, and then I give it a red color. So here, so I imagine these two are my best photographs out of the bunch, and I select and give it a red label. So after which, there is an option on top. You have text, attribute, metadata, and none. So since it is selected in none, and now I filter it to attribute, and I give it just the red colors, and only these two photographs of mine are seen. So whenever someone comes and sees it, they'll feel all these photographs are of good things. All the photographs that are at red label are good. So they'll also, like, in this way you can also filter your photographs and edit. In case you have 500 photographs, you want to filter only the tiger photographs, see them and edit them, you can do it. You can give everything, each one a separate color as you wish. And you can also edit, you can also filter based on your star rating. So as of now, I don't have anything of the star rating, so I'm filtering out. So I select you can select the selected flag. So here, this one. So whatever options you want, you can just select all those options, and you can filter it, and then based on that you can edit all these photos. So when you did this, you had something called as the collection that I was talking before this one. So that is here, and when you see, there is something called as the smart collection that is there beneath it. It is a option that is given by the collection. So in this, it automatically records whatever changes that you make to your photographs in the library module. So as of now, we are in the library module. So whatever changes you make to your photographs in the library module is recorded in the smart collection. Like the colored red is marked as 2. So when you go and click ahead in this one, you just select, see these 2 photographs. So without key. So these 3 are the photographs without keys. And when I go and select this one, so these are the photographs. These are the all photographs that are present in. So it has some various folders list, and with this you can easily, like, it automatically segregates the file based on the different categories that it decides you will want. So it automatically decides you will want photographs based on these categories, and it creates folders based on those categories, and you will be able to choose the photographs that you want. Or if you want to create your own collection, you have an option here. Click here, create a collection. So I say it tiger or something. So I have this one particular, so why this happened is because I had only this particular one photo selected there, and I created the collection, so it automatically got added to this collection. So if I want all this rest of the 2 photographs to be here, just click, select, and drag and drop into this. That's it. So it will get added to this particular collection. That's all. So beyond this, you have something called as a quick collection. So you select the 3 photographs of tigers, and you add this to quick collection here. So you have these 3 photographs here, and then you add this to quick collection here. And currently I'm adding it to tiger here. So I have added this photos to tiger, and the same way I can add it to quick collection, and later I can bring all the photographs into one particular collection that I want. It is completely my wish. So it is just like a folder, like you're creating different folders based on whatever filters or whatever labels or whatever category of photos you have, like tigers in one thing, leopards in one thing, birds in one thing, like different kinds of photographs. So this is a published service. So when you can use all this thing, but it is basically like not used by anyone, as Flickr and this Facebook and Adobe Stock doesn't get synchronized with classic version of CC. It just gets this one synchronized with the Lightroom CC, the basic Lightroom CC. So beyond this, you have something called as the spray option. So in this spray option, it is here I go and select label again, and I have this 3rd tiger here. So I just select label here, and I just go to this paint and just spray it. That's all. So whatever you have it in this paint. You just set that, and you just go and spray on any particular photo. All the information that is there in that one particular photo gets delivered to that other photos that you have sent. So this is the basic use of this painter tool. So beyond this, we have on this right side, you select a particular photograph. You find all the details like the camera setting, the shutter speed, aperture, ISO, then distance it was shot, all this, and the histogram setting that is found on the right side. So you are able to see the right side of this one. So there you have all this. So it shows on the quick develop, that is while we were importing it, we had selected black and white flag for this particular photo. That is what it means here. So I had keywording it. So when I go down, I had keyworded it 3 times. Tiger, Tadoba, and wildlife. All these 3 are imported here. So you have something called as the metadata. When I did that, I just had this camera information. It just gets auto populated, and all the other things. You had given a red label here, and all the other details that you had set for your particular photograph, that gets imported. So what camera, what did I use for flash? So flash is that it doesn't consider external flash, it just considers camera flash. So if you have used only the camera flash, it considers, and if you have used an external flash for your particular thing, still it shows that the flash is not fired there. And after you do, you can type some comment here that if you wish for the particular photograph, and you have this particular setting, some setting you have for this one, we have made some changes. So as of now I have not made any changes, so these two settings are not visible. So imagining I have made some changes to this one, and I want the same changes to this particular photo, and you have something called as the synchronized metadata and synchronized settings. So what is a metadata is what I told you earlier, all the informations that you give to a particular image, like the name, the model, where you are shot, what is the distance, or their copyright information. Whatever you want to give to that particular image, you can give it, and that is the information that is with the metadata set, and that will remain with the particular photograph. And so when you want to synchronize that particular metadata setting, other photograph that is used, you can give synchronized metadata, and you have some changes that like sharpness, brightness, or something that you have made, and you want to make that changes to the other photograph, you can give synchronized settings. So this is basically about this library module, and how you can manage your files using Adobe Lightroom. So tomorrow we have I like touch with all the other tabs that are present, such as develop, map, book. You can create your own album using Lightroom. You can choose your particular size of print using Lightroom. You can make your own photograph with a particular web, like for Instagram, for Facebook, or Snapchat, whatever web you want. You can crop, or you can edit your photographs directly on the particular thing, and you can develop, and you can choose your path, and you can just post your photographs. So we have all the other modules that is present. So since we have today, it was completely a photo management. Tomorrow I'll deal with all the other things and a bit of all the other topics of map, book, slideshow, print, and web as well. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. I'll just answer now.
Guys,
Nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
anybody, guys?
Sir,
Can you open that PowerPoint, that color, that one?
Yeah. Okay.
Bro, one question I have. I mean, when we have hundreds of photos, normally what is the workflow do you follow? The 100 photos do you go through all of them first in your browser and then import in Lightroom, or first itself you import in Lightroom and then assign the stars? The நிறைய photos ஒரே மாதிரி இருக்கும் அதுதான்.
Yeah. Basically I use completely Lightroom, like from copying my photographs from hard disk to my system. For everything I use only Lightroom. I copy my photographs from my hard disk to Lightroom through particular catalog that I choose, and then later I compare my photographs. I showed you that compare view, no? With that I compare my photographs, which one is better. Then I reject and select the photographs based on that. If I feel that is like worst, I just delete it directly from hard disk. If it is I feel okay, fine, I can use it sometime later for some session or something, I'll just remove it for the particular catalog. I'll use it better.
And bro, like how do you store, like what kind of storage do you do? Like if something happens to your hard disk, okay, what other safety you have for like for saving the other images?
So as of now, I use a NAS, that a network attached storage that I have NAS, 16 TB Western Digital NAS I have. So apart from this, I have 4 TB hard disk. So totally I have 48 TBs of photographs and videos.
Oh. Okay.
Because of a lot of documentation work that is going on, so that everything will be shot in Blackmagic, so everything comes on 8K. So 1 minute video comes to around like 12 GB or something.
Okay.
So that only is a lot of
Okay. And this one, Hari bro, you had asked for the color space, right?
Yeah. Can you just show that?
Yeah.
That the fifth slide, I think.
Fifth slide, yes, fifth slide.
Okay, so Can you tell what is this triangles and also?
Yeah, okay. So basically this color space is like what is the problem. I'll tell you the problem that you face when you don't follow this color space is that you edit your photographs in Lightroom and then you post it on your Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah, that part I understood. Like sRGB, for printing you take something else, and for Instagram something else.
Yeah.
But what exactly are these triangles?
So this first triangle is the sRGB. That is the smallest of. It occupies the less amount. It understands the less amount of colors when compared to Adobe RGB. That is the second triangle. So the second triangle is Adobe RGB triangle, and first triangle is sRGB triangle, and the third triangle is Profoto RGB triangle. So when you
and fourth one is our eye.
No, fourth one is the color gamut. Our eye occupies more colors when compared to Profoto RGB. So our eye is approximately more than 10,500 pixels, and the highest amount of DSLR camera that we have now, that the highest resolution is 20 point something.
Yeah.
So you can't compare our eye with the DSLR or anything. So this is basically a color gamut. That this gamut is like the color space that all the digital color world that understands. Digital color world understands all the colors within the color gamut. So within the color gamut, actually black and white are not colors. That is the basic. Yeah, black and white are not colors. It is actually a mixture of so many colors that comes out of black and white. So the smallest triangle is sRGB. So that is the minimum amount of color. sRGB understands the minimum amount of colors. Then beyond that, you have Adobe RGB, which understands more amount of colors, and Profoto RGB understands the maximum amount of colors when compared to these two. So while you are editing for a flux banner or for something like big cutout and all, they mainly use Profoto RGB, and then they decode it to Adobe RGB and then print it. So that is the process that we do.
Okay,
So
and second question which I have is, okay, when we see our photos in our DSLR, and when we view it as a JPEG, it will be in one color, and when we see the same photo in Lightroom, it will be in different color.
Yeah.
So what I usually do is I use a Nikon. Okay, so they have some software for converting that raw into some other color format. I don't know what it is, but so you usually do that, or you directly import to Lightroom and do some settings changes?
No, I directly import it to Lightroom because Lightroom understands all the format. So, but latest version of Lightroom understands all the format. Whether it's Nikon or Canon, I use even a D5. I use 1DX Mark II. I have both the cameras. So I have Canon as well as Nikon. So it understands both the files. So it is not an issue.
Okay. One more thing is whenever I take sometimes I try out taking both RAW and JPEG simultaneously. My camera is having that facility.
Okay.
So in one click, it stores both in RAW and also in JPEG.
Yeah.
So the color that is captured on JPEG is more natural and compared to what is there in the RAW.
Yeah.
So what I really want to do is I want to bring it to more to the JPEG side. So for that reason, I try to use some color converter or something in the free software which is given in Nikon.
That is actually a wrong conception. I'll tell you the exact thing that is there. So when you shoot in RAW, in the olden days you had this film roll camera, right?
Okay.
So the film roll camera, what we do is first we insert the film, we take the photograph, then we go to this one lab, and then we use some chemicals, we process it, and then you get the final photograph.
Correct.
Yes.
So the final photograph is the JPEG photograph. The film is the raw format.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
So when you take the final photograph and then when you try to put it in processing, you are making it more messy. You will not be able to reduce the highlights as much as you can, or increase the sharpness as much as you can when you do it to the raw image. So
that part I totally agree. But the only negative which I see is whenever I see a JPEG, it looks more vivid and more pleasing to the eye when compared to the
no,
RAW.
see, see, when you look at the in the camera, right? Your RAW and JPEG in my camera, it looks both the same. Okay, I'll tell you. it looks both the same. But when you put it in the this laptop, right? So during the editing, the raw is nothing but it doesn't have any kind of color or any kind of nothing. We have to provide all kind of details so that we get a blushing photo.
Correct.
So that's what raw is meant to be.
Yeah, that part I understand.
And I think that there's no raw viewing software like how we have in the camera. We don't have that kind of software in our computer.
Sorry, I didn't get that part. What did you say?
See, what I'm saying is that RAW and JPEG look same for me in the camera. Okay. So when I put it in the computer, the raw image looks like more kind of what unprocessed zero edited image. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, correct.
So what I'm trying to say is that there is nothing kind of raw software in our laptop or desktop to view it like a JPEG.
Yes.
Yeah. That I agree. It's like a more neutral. Everything sharpness is zero and brightness exposure.
Yeah.
Everything is zero. Yeah.
Everything is zero there. So as soon as we see, what we do is that we upload the raw images in the Lightroom, right? So after editing, they get converted into JPEG, and they don't convert into RAW.
Yes.
No. Okay. Now, I'll just reframe my question.
Yeah.
Instead of directly importing my raw image to Lightroom, there is a difference between directly importing that photo to Lightroom and sending it through Capture NXT or some kind of Nikon softwares. There is a difference always. So
Okay.
that is what you would like to know.
Okay, I haven't been through that. I have just I just edit in Lightroom and export it. That's all.
Because I actually missed this point. Like there is something called as Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Bridge. So Adobe Photoshop acts a plugin of making camera raw and all those changes, and beyond that you can make this some certain kind of edits. So this is basically Adobe Photoshop is now used for editors. So now Adobe has declared that Adobe Photoshop is for editors and Bridge is for someone who is making changes. But Adobe has come up with this Lightroom, which is a mixture of Photoshop as well as Bridge. And Lightroom is completely for photographers who are willing to manage their photographs and edit their photographs. So you can't clone a subject, you can't patch and all those things, you can't do it in Lightroom. Like basically whatever a photographer should do and can do can be done in Lightroom. Like beyond extreme levels of edits are not allowed in certain competitions, and that is the restriction that is brought in Lightroom as well. So if for a photographer, Lightroom is the perfect thing that you can be using. And for this RAW and JPEG, I would like to tell you, like for why I'm telling you shooting in RAW is that a RAW file format occupies like 16,384 levels per channel. That is the largest amount of information that a RAW file can collect. Whereas a JPEG file accepts 256 levels per channel, which is very much less. So you can imagine how is 16,384 and 256. So when you shoot in RAW, you get so much amount of information, and then you process it, and you will be like pleased to see your images after you process. So when you directly shoot in JPEG, the camera takes that image that you shoot, it makes its processing by itself and gives you the final image then and there in the camera. Then beyond which, when you take it out, you are just taking out 256. You are not using the fullest potential of your camera when you shoot it in JPEG. So that is why you are asked to shoot in RAW image.
Yeah, that capturing everything in RAW I'm also in the same boat, but importing directly to Lightroom is what I am a little bit skeptical about, because my color reproduction, which I see in my camera, is exactly reproduced in my Nikon software rather than in Lightroom software. So that's why I always go to Nikon and then go to Lightroom. So that one additional step, which is what I do.
Oh, okay. So basically, when you go to
Navneet, one sec. Guys, we have 2 more minutes left. Okay. So please clarify your doubts. Okay, we have 2 more minutes left. I will let you know.
Okay, I will just compare this and send it, like open it up tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, whenever we discuss, at that time we can close this one.
Sure. We will. Guys, does anybody have any other doubts, guys?
Bye. கார்த்திக்
சார்,
உங்களுக்கு பின்னாடி யாரும் ஒரு ரிஷேட் போயிட்டே இருக்காது யாரு?
சார் ஃப்ரெண்ட் சார்.
Okay, bye.
Okay, Navneet, thank you. Thanks a lot. We will have the second session tomorrow by same time. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye bye.